Hi, everyone. Welcome to our latest episode of Finding Healthy Love, True Healthy Love. I'm Bari, Lyman, the creator of the Meet to Marry method, in case you don't know me, and the School of Healthy Love and Intimacy. And we're going to talk about a topic that is so heated, and you either love it or you hate it. There's usually not a lot of gray, and that topic is dating sites, online dating. There are so many myths around online dating and so much passion about it. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So I bet that you have a certain opinion about online dating depending on where you are in your journey. So here's the thing. Here's the first distinction. Let's jump right in. Here's the truth about dating sites, whether it's a swipe site, whether it's a regular site, is they all have one amazing thing in common, which is why I want you to like them, is that they are all of them, every single one, singles. They are repositories of singles. And that's the good news because you want to find your person. So in order to use them effectively, you have to be skilled. You want to be an empowered dater. And so like anything else, so on dating sites, you're going to discover that some of the people in that universe are marriage-minded, relationship-oriented. Others are not there on their journey, and they are there to just hook up or to just find a friend or find a date. So we don't want to make that wrong because that is actually how it's designed. Another important distinction about online dating is that they are not schools. They don't teach you how to find healthy love. That's just not what they do. It's not the design. Each site has its own kind of chemistry. So they each have their own unique algorithms. eHarmony makes matches. Bumble, the women choose the men. So they're all different. Some of them, you're just swiping pictures. So at the end of the day, if you're an empowered dater and you know how to use the site, you can be super successful. Now, you may be thinking, I still hate the site. So I love the site because I was on both sides and my clients have been on both sides. So I met my husband on JDate. And I was on JDate for years before I met him. But in the old paradigm, before Meet to Marry and before my own transformation, I was literally meeting emotionally unavailable men on that site. Okay, so a person could say, then JDate has emotionally unavailable men and call it a day. Where I lived, Boca Raton, South Florida, no good for dating. Better move. But that is not the truth. Because ultimately, when I went through this journey of becoming an empowered dater, on the right foundation of becoming vulnerable. And when I stopped attracting the wrong people, then I actually met Michael on JDate. Not only did I meet him, in that transformation, in that journey, I was only meeting men who were marriage-minded, who wanted what I wanted, until I met the one for me who matched up everything. Who the guy who has my back, the person who I was attracted to each other, the person, Michael, where we shared values and a vision. And actually, this weekend, we're celebrating our wedding anniversary. And I have to say that it gets better and better over time. That's what a conscious relationship is. It's one where you're on the same page, where you're best friends, where you have each other's back. So I know both sides. Then you might say, well, why is it that I attracted all these wrong people on dating sites for all those years? So ultimately, the reason we attract the wrong people is us. It's all about us. We are all creating the experience that we have. Now, not to be woo-woo, because it's not a woo-woo conversation, but we all have a certain vibration. And human beings tend to have blind spots. So we're also very kind of attached to the way we see the world. We grew up a certain way. We have a certain worldview. We have have blind spots, and these blind spots are causing us to attract not the people that we really want and need. We want to be loved. We want to be seen. We want to be celebrated. But when we have a blind spot, that means we're attracting people who are literally a mirror to our fears. So let's take it for an example. If you grew up in a home where your parents fought all the time, when that happens, then we have this thing about love and we have fear because we don't want that. Or if our father wasn't present for us the way we wanted, then sometimes we have abandonment issues. So if we're afraid of being hurt or afraid of being abandoned, that's our vibration. It doesn't matter how smart and successful you are in other areas. It's working because at work, you know what you're doing. You know the steps, you know how to get there, you plan it, you know what to do, how to be successful, and you ultimately go home at the end of the day and you're with yourself. That's it. But when it comes to intimacy, it's about vulnerability. It's about being seen. And if we're afraid of getting hurt and you look back at your patterns, we start to see a pattern of, oh, wow, all the men in my life, they were emotionally unavailable. So if we're afraid of being hurt or afraid of being seen and rejected, then what happens? We magnetize people who are mirror to our fears. Then we magnetize men or women. This happens in both sides. We attract people who, if we're afraid of being hurt, we attract people who actually hurt us. And so often we are self-aware. We're clear about what's not working because you've worked on yourself for many years. Many people have analyzed these childhood things in therapy. And you think, I talked about in therapy, so it's handled, it's worked out. I have a great job, I have a great career. But if you are still meeting wrong people, I spoke with someone yesterday and she shared with me that everyone she meets, they look great on paper, but after 5-6 dates, even though they say they're marriage minded, they ghost her. They're gone. And I pointed out to her that she is creating it. Her fears, her rose-colored glasses, her walls that are up, her fear of intimacy really does magnetize people who don't want what she wants. They may say it. She married a person like that who cheated and hurt her. And then when we look at these patterns of someone cheats on you, you look back at your childhood and that's what we see. So it's great to know that, but we have to fix it. We have to fix it. If not, it keeps happening. And if it's not fixed, the same thing happens over and over again. And then we wonder, why not me? Why do dating sites seem to only have low quality people? So you know the truth now. They don't only have low quality people. They have all kinds of people. But when we have a blind spot and we're attracting the wrong people, when our vibration is low and it's fear-based and it's hidden, you could be the most optimistic person on the planet. I know I was super optimistic because that also is a defense mechanism and a strategy. I wore my rose-colored glasses and I went out there and I kept trying and I mystery dated. And I dated people who were not right for me because also I didn't know what I really needed. So here's the deal, guys. Dating sites are wonderful. They're efficient. They're effective. You can go meet people. You can screen them. But it only works on the right foundation, like building a house. Could you imagine framing a house before you have a solid foundation? Could you imagine ordering the windows or ordering doors or creating a roof before you have a blueprint? So many of you plan everything. One of my clients said, God bless her, she said, you know what? I just realized I plan my travel. I plan my education. I plan my career, but love, didn't plan it. She didn't know how. But once she figured out there was a way to find out how to do it, she jumped on it. Because it's education that we need. Swipe sites are great. You look at a picture, and as an empowered dater, you know how to screen people. You know the right questions to ask, and you also know that you're not attached to any one result or any one person. You're committed to your vision and your dream, and you know that your heart is open and that your walls are down. Because when you're an empowered dater, you are vibrating what you want. Shame is off the table. Your childhood is off the table. You know, all that happened and it formed you, and we look at it, but we get future focused. We get clear on what is it that you as a human being need. And then you can operate on a high vibration, high frequency, sharing your vision, what you want. Because if you're not on the right foundation, here's the other thing that happens. Then you get great at red flags. The red flags. This is a warning sign. Cut that. I see that he's not calling me back. Get rid of him. You know, and then it's all about dodging bullets, dodging red flags. And dodging red flags or knowing what you don't want, do you think that gets you to what you do want? It doesn't. It doesn't. Because then you just spend years running from these red flags because, again, you're magnetizing them. And if you're one of those people who feels like, oh, I am independent and I intimidate men, so what that really means is that you're saying, I don't need a man. And if you really feel like you don't need a man, when you do, might not need him for finances, but we all need intimacy. We all need to be loved. We all need to be acknowledged. We all need to have beautiful conversations and someone to hold us and to just cook with and dance with and share our life with. Look, there comes a point where it gets lonely to be avoiding it and to spend all your time at work or focus and distract yourself only on your kids, distract yourself on work. I know so many of you treat yourselves beautifully. You treat yourselves to lovely vacations. But the people that come to me are sick of traveling alone, sick of not wanting to come home to an empty house. Do you feel that? You know, so dating sites are great. A lot of things are great. They're wonderful. You can swipe. You can have what I call a pipeline of like-minded dates, not mystery dates, where you're attracted chemically and then they disappear. That's not the foundation. Just like a beautiful home needs to be built on the right foundation, so does love and intimacy. And you can do it. There is education for it because it is so life affirming and healing to be this smart person, not needy, not avoiding, but instead just stepping into your truth. There's an image I was sharing with my clients the other day in a Q&A call, a spotlight call, and it's a set of hands and they're holding. And so here's where they come together, right, at the thumb, but then the hands are separate because we're each an individual people. And healthy love is about choosing love, choosing that person, having empathy for them, and they for you, where you literally cross over the bridge and we leave our childhoods and our reactions. We leave them behind because there's no place for reactivity or childishness in love and intimacy. So it's like two whole people coming together. And when you're consciously dating, empowered dating, you're curious. You're meeting people that you want to meet. You're having these meaningful conversations, and this whole conventional wisdom thing about don't tell him or her that you want to get married, you'll scare them off. To that I say, scare them off. If they don't want what you want and you can't share that from day one, then what good is it? You're just wasting your time. So when you're consciously dating and your heart is open and you know what you're doing and you have a plan, imagine having a plan, knowing how many dates you're going to go on in a week and how to find those dates and how to have a profile that is not superficial, but instead is like a reflection of you and your truth. And you can hand that to anyone, and anyone could make a suggestion instead of those horrible mystery dates that we get when we're in the old paradigm. Oh, she's tall, he's tall, put them together. Oh, he's Christian, she's Christian, put them together. But that's not what it's about. It's about so much more. It's about a life vision. It's about knowing how to articulate that life vision. And with that, I am celebrating, we're celebrating our anniversary. And Michael and I live in this forest, it's a nature preserve, and with walking trails, and it was a dream. But we talked about these dreams from day one, and because we share a vision of adventure, and we complement each other, and we have each other's backs, and we nurture the relationship. So it started out on the right foundation, and he thinks I'm beautiful even when I don't think so. And he has my back, and I have his back. And we're in this for a lifetime. And when you're in it for a lifetime, it's like watering a plant. If you have a plant and you don't water it, what's going to happen? It's going to die. And that's why there's so many divorces in our society, because people are not prepared. And like I did, I wore rose-colored glasses, and I wished and I hoped, and whatever they said, I hope that wasn't true. And I felt like, I could change it, but I couldn't change it, because the only person we can really change is ourselves. And I'll let you in on a secret. You don't need to continue working on yourself. You don't need to have more money, and you don't need to be a little skinnier, and you don't need to be in another city. You don't need to come from different parents. What you need is to be you, is to be real, is to be vulnerable, and learn how to do that. And learning how to do that is a very joyful journey, because when you do that on the right foundation, then you take the step into a dream out of your comfort zone. Because so many people, when they have the opportunity to change their life and get the education that they need, half the people are like, lay it on me. I'm in. Let's do this. I want to leave my comfort zone. I am committed. And the other half of the people, they're not ready. They make excuses. Oh, I'm going on vacation. Oh, I'm renovating my bathroom. Oh, I'm taking care of an elderly parent. But I can say that I have done all of those things, but with my partner, with Michael. And it's so much better because he has my back, and he takes care of things that I don't like to take care of. And that's what a healthy marriage is. And I think it's great to meditate and talk in therapy and do all those things. But if it's not goal-oriented and success-oriented, then how are you going to get there? Because that whole idea of it's going to happen when it happens, it doesn't. It doesn't. It takes action, thought, speech, and action. It takes comprehensive plan to be out of your comfort zone and being out of the familiar. And so on our themed wedding anniversary, I really want to give you a blessing that you find it within yourself to say, my life is good, my life is great. But I'm at the point where, and if this is where you are, that I want real intimacy. I want a partner, because it's not about low quality people out there. It's not that there's something wrong with JDate or Bumble or Match or any of the sites, because you can meet your person on any of them. You can meet them on speed dating. You can meet them anywhere, but we got to take your walls down. And if you're not where you want to be, then trust me, it's costing you something, and you have walls up. And it's a beautiful thing to take them down. So that's what we do at the School of True Love and Healthy Intimacy. That's what we do at Meet to Marry. We have a 90-day program that takes people from start to finish, and just discovering yourself and getting rid of your blocks, that's worth a fortune. But then finding the person, that's the icing. That's the goal. And that's what we see happening every day. We're celebrating. So this is why we do this education, to inspire you, to let you know that you're perfect the way you are. You don't need to keep fixing yourself. All you need to do is remove the barriers. So I'd love to know, what you think about this conversation. What do you notice for yourself? What do you see in it? I would love for you to post in the comments what you see, or feel free to send me a private message. We do an episode like this every single week, and sometimes we share a success story, right? Interview a success story who's living his or her dream, because they happen all the time in a clear path to true healthy love. So here's your next step. If you want to discover what's really getting in your way and you want to create a plan, first step is to watch the 5 Shifts Masterclass. That lays out the steps and that lays out the program of what happens from start to finish, because you can't start at the end. Let's say you need a tooth extracted. You're not going to go to a plumber to get a tooth extracted, right? So if you want to find true love and healthy intimacy, then I would want to go to the best. If you want to remove a tooth, you go to a dentist. So if you want to remove your barriers to love and find yourself living in your dream in a short time, guys, the holidays are coming. It's almost December. So let's make this happen. So let's jump on a call. First, watch the training, meettomarry.com/real love. Check it out. See what it means to you. And then if it's right, we'll get on a call and we'll figure it out. We'll make a plan. Okay, guys. So that's it for me. This is our most recent episode. Next week, there'll be another episode based on what you're asking for, what it is that you want to learn. So have a wonderful day, a wonderful week. Post your distinctions and send your friends. Everyone needs to learn how to find true love and intimacy, right? And we all deserve it. Okay. See you next time.